Hey guys, this is the first part of my nation review series. I plan to analyze all nations purely from a multiplayer standpoint. Firstly, I will discuss their unique units. Then for both Nomad and Standard, I will rate them in the following categories: nation bonuses, economy, rushing, raiding, defense, scouting. And finally, I will rate the team bonuses in general. So as the title says, this video is about the Spanish. The Spanish unique unit is a heavy infantry that gets great bonus damage against light cavalry and heavy cavalry. I used to think this bonus is redundant, since heavy infantry are already strong against these units, but just the amount of their damage against cavalry makes them super useful. A full 3-man squad can almost one-shot light cavalry and kill heavy cavalry in 2 hits. Because of this, the enemy has to be super careful not to attack Spanish heavy infantry in close quarters, because it could mean losing all the cavalry very fast. From Gunpowder Age, they become even stronger, because they are one of the 2 ranged heavy infantry in that age, the other one being the Persian. Apart from this, they retain their bonus damage against cavalry from before, so they are the perfect counter for heavy knight spam in Age 4. Beginner players probably don't know this, but in pro games, the monarchy government makes heavy cavalry essential to any Gunpowder Age army, since they are so strong and so cheap. But the Spanish can counter this easily, which is why they have one of the best gunpowder armies in the game, in my opinion. Let's look at their nation bonuses. Their first nation power is that they start with an extra scout, and the map is revealed along with all the rare resources. Also, the ruins within your territory are revealed. This is perhaps their most important nation power. The fact that you start with 2 scouts gives you a head start on scouting the map for ruins. A common strategy with Spanish is to research Science 1, followed by Science 2 after picking up 2 ruins for wealth. Scouting with the 2 scouts and a couple of villagers can result in getting several hundred more ruins than your opponent, which gives a huge boost in the early game. Keep in mind, the Science 2 strategy might not work so well if you don't get enough ruins or get raided in Ancient Age, so there is a risk factor to consider. The fact that the map is revealed to you gives a lot of important information. First of all, your whole team will see every rare resource, if you scout them of course, so your teammates also benefit from this. The layout of the map is also revealed to you, so you will see the best places for a city ahead of time. This means you can always build your economic cities near wood, metal, or both, and since the terrain and map objects are revealed to you, it is much easier to build defenses against raids, force battles in choke points, and you can raid your opponents easier. You can also help your teammates by pointing out the good raiding spots of the enemies. Their second nation bonus is that scouts are upgraded for free and use their abilities faster. This might seem minor, but I usually do not want to spare 80 metal and gold to upgrade to explorers in medieval age. The Spanish get this for free, and assuming you did not suicide either of your 2 starting scouts, the 2 explorers are a great help at detecting incoming armies and raids. They can also be used offensively if you manage to plant them on a raiding spot or rare resource. Explorers can hide if they are not moving, essentially having an informer in enemy territory. I never noticed Spanish scouts use their abilities faster. I actually did some tests, and this is only true for the sabotage and sniping abilities, not the counterintelligence, which might have been the most important of these 3. The sabotage and sniping is finished in half the time for the Spanish commandos, making them more useful at reducing capital cities and sniping enemy units. Their third nation power is that before Industrial Age, they receive a free heavy ship after completing a dock. Another bonus that might seem unimportant, but let me say I hate having to fight against Spanish on water maps. Their free heavy ship after completing a dock means they can raid your fishing ships without researching military, forcing you to spend resources both on military one and making your own heavy ships. This ability can set back the entire opposing team. Their last nation power is that they gain 30 resources from ruins and an extra 26 per science level researched. This bonus helps a bit with the early scouting and makes the Science 2 strategy more worthwhile. Having Science 2 research means you get 82 resources from a ruin instead of 75. It's not much, but it does add up to 40 to 60 extra resources depending on your ruin count, so I would not underestimate this bonus for the early game. Next topic is their economy. In general, they are not considered a great nation in this regard since they don't get any direct economy bonuses. However, their early scouting can make enough difference in economy to beat even the strongest nations. Having a few hundred more resources than your opponent gives a head start for the whole game. But at the same time, this bonus declines over time as 95% of the ruins will be picked up by 6 minutes at the latest. So if you didn't get enough ruins to have an advantage, your economy will be very lacking. This dependency on ruins makes the Spanish economy kind of luck-based and one of the weakest in the long term with no other bonuses. I give them 2 out of 10 for economy. About their rushing abilities. They usually have a faster start than most nations thanks to their ruin bonuses and extra scout. This makes them well suited for classical age rush. They can scout the weak points of the enemy a lot easier and their unique unit also helps them. Cavalry stands no chance against them, so you only need to have the numbers advantage and some cavalry to take care of the enemy archers. They are also pretty good in a medieval age rush. Crossbows combined with Spanish heavy infantry is a pretty deadly combination. Their boom to a 150 economy is not as fast though, so some other nations are more suited for medieval age rush, but they are definitely one of the better nations to do it. For me, it's a 7 out of 10 for rushing. Next topic is the raiding abilities. So when you think of a raiding nation, the Spanish are probably not the first that comes to your mind. But I think they have some bonuses that help them a lot in this regard. Since you see the whole map, you will not miss any rare on the opponent's side. You can plant your explorers in good raiding spots and they give you a lot of useful information. For example, if you see a single archer defending a mine, you can send a heavy cavalry to take care of it. If you see 2 light horses guarding something, 1 heavy infantry will do the job. The point is, you will always be 1 step ahead. They do not have a more direct bonus for raiding like the Mongols or Iroquois do, but these subtle bonuses help them a lot in the background, so for me their rating is 7 out of 10. The following category is defense. Once again, they do not have direct bonuses for defense like Mayans or Koreans do, but the information from knowing the whole map works to their advantage here. You can place your cities in a way that there are fewer weak points in your base. Building intentionally behind a river, a big forest or a mountain can drastically improve your chances to defend. Furthermore, you can also use your explorers from medieval age as mobile lookout towers, spotting any incoming raid before they come to you, giving you time to prepare. Once they are planted, they become invisible and your opponent won't see them unless he brings his own scout. The unique heavy infantry is great to fight off masses of heavy cavalry, and from gunpowder age they become ranged, so 1 heavy infantry can protect a whole city unless an entire army comes to raid. I give them 7 out of 10 for defense. The last topic for standard is scouting. I think there is not much to say here. I already covered their strengths in this regard in the previous topics. 5 out of 5. Now we move on to the more popular game mode, Nomad. So they retain most of their nation powers from standard except for the additional free scout since you do not start with any scouts in Nomad. This hurts them quite a bit, but the explored map will still help your whole team in a Nomad game and the free heavy ships become even more annoying than in standard since it is much more expensive to research the military one to fight off the Spanish heavy ship. This does not make them a top nation in Nomad though, as the lack of economy bonuses will hinder them against stronger nations from the beginning. So the first topic in Nomad is also economy. They do not have a direct ability to get more ruins than the average, but the revealed map helps with setting waypoints so your villagers are not bumping into map objects too often. In general, it is also easier to find ruins with Spanish, at least that's my experience, especially on maps like Mesa or Himalayas, where there are a lot of objects to bump into. They get a slight ruin bonus for the early game, so their economy is not the worst, but it's far from the best. 2 out of 10. Next topic is their rushing abilities in Nomad. Since they do not have the fastest start in Nomad, the ability to perform a classical age rush is quite limited. Their unique unit helps against defending cavalry, but in Nomad, archers are a lot more common to see on the defender's side, so I will give them 2 out of 10 for rushing. About their raiding, the ability to see all the rares and possible woodcutter camps of the enemies gives important information, and this makes them effective at ancient raiding. They cannot do this as fast as some other nations though, so I think it's a 7 out of 10. Up next is their defense. So the revealed map bonus only comes after the first city is built, which is also the most important one. So their defenses are not helped much by this, since your first city's placement will be determined by luck. They are not great at defending against fast, aggressive nations either. One thing they are good at is recognizing possible raiding routes from the enemy and can point out which rare resources might need additional defenses. Seeing the opponent's map also gives information whether they might try to do an ancient raid or not. Overall, they have decent defensive abilities in the ancient age, but not much after that. So it's a 4 out of 10. The last topic in Nomad is scouting. Similar to standard, they can see everything after the first city is finished, so even without the bonus scout, their scouting is unrivaled in Nomad. 5 out of 5. There are no specific team bonuses in this game like in Age of Empires 2, but some nations are definitely better at teamwork than others, so I decided to have this category as well. The Spanish excel at this in both Nomad and Standard. The ability to scout all the rares for your allies is a great boost. You can point where the good woodlines are, the mountains, opponents' rare resources, and all the other stuff. You can point the possible woodlines of the opponents, helping your teammates who do ancient raiding. The free heavy ship slows down the whole enemy team on water maps, giving your team a boost in booming. On maps like Great Lakes, you will be able to tell your teammates which lake is the best for fishing. Also, you will be able to point out which rares are worth going a fast second city for. So overall, I cannot imagine a better teammate than Spanish. 5 out of 5 for teamwork. So that's all I have to say about the Spanish. Not the most popular choice overall, but they certainly have their unique strengths and are great to have on your team. With a decent start, they can be really strong in 1v1 situations as well, mostly thanks to their unique unit, which is one of the best in the game in terms of usefulness. Let me know in the comments what you think of this review and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks for watching!